All I thank Allah for giving me the power, the strength, the training, everything. All my ability comes down to God, and I love Him dearly. Thank you very much.
Unorthodox, and with a large fan base, whose boxing antics generated a large following, Naseem Hamed, nicknamed Prince, was a real showman.
Tell him that I'm going to knock him spark out. I'm going to knock your spark out.
What are you going to say to that, Kevin?
Relax, baby.
You relax.
You going to get knocked out.
Unlike other stars such as Chris Eubank or Frank Bruno, Hamed wanted to please the audience. He was known for his grand entrances into the ring, such as coming in on a flying carpet, coming in by car, carried in on a throne, and all while dressed in his signature leopard print shorts. He often did somersaults through the ropes and found himself at home in the ring. Despite being a notorious showman, he was also considered a talented boxer. Welcome back to the World of Boxing Channel. Today we will remember the career of Naseem Hamed, one of the brightest, most scandalous, and charismatic four-time world champions in the semi-lightweight division. In the UK, Hamed gained popularity early on, thanks to his bright image and effective style both in the ring and outside. Hamed's boxing style was relaxed and self-confident. He was fully gifted by nature and well-trained, and therefore felt right at home in the ring. Hamed was left-handed, with excellent footwork and a very strong hit for his weight from both hands. He excellently defended against the blows of his opponents, worked great with his jab. Naseem changed stances, attacked from unusual angles, and used a hands-down boxing style that he learned at the Brendan Ingle Gym in his native England. Naseem Hamed was born on February 12, 1974 in Sheffield, Yorkshire, UK. The boy's father took him to the Brendan Ingle boxing gym when the young Naseem was barely 7 years old. Ingle's hardest workouts and unusual approach made the skinny boy into a real prince of the semi-lightweight. In the future, Ingle would become not just a coach, but a mentor and teacher who took responsibility for Hamed's entire career. From 1985 to 1986, Hamed won his first national amateur tournaments in the first flyweight, up to 49 kilograms. In the future, he would become the national champion of Great Britain more than once and would also participate in the finals of the prestigious European tournaments. Naseem's amateur record was 62-5, with 18 won by knockout. Naseem Hamed made his professional debut in April 1992. His first fight took place in the second flyweight, but for this category, Hamed was too light and therefore filled his shorts with lead before weighing in.
That was a touchdown. Good shot. Body shot. Well.
Sheffield, England, 1994. In his first 11 fights, Naseem gained experience by going through mediocre opponents. In the 12th fight, he was faced with his first serious challenge in the person of European bantamweight champion, 33-year-old Italian Vincenzo Belcastro. The 20-year-old Hamed sent his opponent to the ring floor with a lightning-fast attack in the first seconds of the starting round. In the fifth round, the Italian again was knocked down, which the referee decided not to count, and although in the end Vincenzo lost, he continued to courageously hold on to the last.
Stopped, and he's admitting that one. He didn't come from 11th. Now, if he's the first to stop Belcastro, that's a good performance. But as you see, that's pity he gets untidy in the first. It looks as though the fourth defence now will be his final one. Belcastro, there's something sensational happens here. He's not known for his punching power anyway.
In the final round, the fighters only teased each other, almost without striking blows. As a result, Naseem Hamed celebrated a convincing victory and got the European champion title. In October of the same year, Naseem moved up the division and won the WBC International title. The Briton successfully continued his victorious ascent. Glasgow, Scotland, 1995. Naseem Hamed versus Armando Castro. Hamed began the fight without any caution, striking the Mexican with hard blows. Castro tried to get close, then pulled the opponent towards himself and fire in response, but seriously lost in speed.
Oh, look at that. Oh dear. This one's not going.
In the second round, he ended up on the floor, but the referee for some reason did not consider it a knockdown.
Still caught him with a punch though, and he fell over himself. Some referee just nobody has, obviously, we realise that now. He's all the time in the world now in this round, Jim. He's done it at the start of the round.
Well, he knows he has the power to do it with one single shot.
There it is. It's all over, I think, yes.
In the fourth round, Hamed dropped Castro twice more, after which the referee decided to stop the beating. In 1995, Hamed fought 3 more fights, continuing to demolish his opponents. On September 30th, Naseem went into his first title fight against champion Steve Robinson. At the time, the 26-year-old Robinson had already won 7 successful defenses of his WBO featherweight belt. Naseem started the fight actively, as was his tradition, and found an ideal distance almost immediately. The champion, on the other hand, was on defense, trying to adapt to battling against the left-hander. Hamed's amazing speed and reaction time allowed him to freely strike his opponent, mocking him and never missing an opportunity.
Of counter-punching him, but Robinson's not buying that. He's fighting out of that high-held guard and just waiting his chances.
In the middle of the 5th round, Steve Robinson was knocked down.
He's got him. Down goes Robinson for only the 2nd time in his career.
In the middle of the 8th, the referee stopped the fight. So in his 20th professional fight, Naseem Hamed became the world champion. But during the fight he injured his hand, a problem which haunted him until the end of his career.
Belt's there. The viewers know he's the best. Now, he said he was too strong. Everything his trainers and his manager says. What happened? I was too strong, too fast, and too good, and I'm world champ.
The new champion held his first title defense in March 1996. A few moments after the fight began, Hamed had already sent his opponent, Saeed Lawal, to the floor.
Naseem, I wonder if he'll back off and just let him recover, because his legs are completely gone.
The challenger rose, but a powerful uppercut made him fall to the floor again, and the referee stopped the fight.
The most clinical finish seen in the British ring for some time, and Prince Naseem Hamed retains his WBO.
For this spectacular victory, the Prince needed only 3 strikes. It was the fastest title fight ever fought in Scotland.
One single punch, that's all it took. All that training, all that movement.
The second defense of the title is also worth noting. It was a bright but short fight against Daniel Elysia.
Prince Naseem will need that quality if they're to beat him. Durability, and Alisea has taken the punch as well so far.
Yes, and certainly he's not psyched out in any way. Good right hand again.
Oh, he's got him down! Naseem is put down by a right hand. It's only a flat.
Try and get his hands up, Hamed, here.
The switch.
Good solid right hand there.
Oh, left hook, and down.
Alisea.
Can his head clear?
At this stage of his career, Naseem fought mainly in Great Britain and Ireland. Among his opponents were ex-world champions, strong opponents and prospects who had never lost a fight before. By August of '96, he was waiting for a rather difficult challenge. Hamed hosted his 3rd title defense against Manuel Medina. Manuel had already managed to fight about 60 professional matches, and twice he beat the world featherweight champion. In total, as a result of his rich career, he would become a 5-time champion of this division. Medina, from the very first minutes, tried to make it clear that he was in no way inferior to Hamed. He moved a lot, worked with his front hand, and provoked Naseem. But even though the opponent was larger and rather challenging, the Prince acted more accurately at the beginning of the fight. At the end of the second round, Medina was counted down from the left jab.
And he's taking the 8 count to continue, and he attacks again. Wild with the right hand, and the Prince slips again on the slippery canvas. I can't tell exactly where the blood's coming from, but the bell ends round number 2.
After the hit, Manuel Medina surprisingly began to act more efficiently. Usually in fights against Hamed, the opposite is observed. Opponents were usually slightly dazed after receiving his punches.
Medina tries to get back, but instead the Prince nails him again in that face. That eye, as time goes on, the Prince keeps whacking him on it. As I say that, he walks into a left hand. But look at these shots here. Nothing fancy, but you didn't expect it to be that way. With the Prince get nailed with the right hand. The mouthpiece wins.
In the first minutes of round 9, Medina again found himself on the canvas, missing an accurate right cross coming in from Hamed.
The Prince looking for the knockout. Medina able to...
At the last minute of the round, the situation was exactly the same.
As he goes down for the second time. Wow, with a right hand, bounces that one off the forehead. Wow, look at this guy. Comes with the uppercut. The way Mike Tyson throws him, bends at the knees and throws him from a squatting position.
At the end of the 11th round, Hamed shook Medina several times. And before the 12th round, the doctor advised the referee to stop the fight. After the fight, Naseem admitted that his performance was not the best in his career, citing the fact that he had the flu the day before.
I've got to show them Americans that there's a Brit, there's a British Arab, I should say, in Britain, from Sheffield, what's ready basically to take on the world. And as I told them before, the Americans, when you look in my eyes, looking at a man ready to cane the world.
On February 8th, Hamed met in a unification fight with American Tom Johnson, nicknamed Boom Boom. Tom was 10 years older than Hamed and held the IBF featherweight title for 4 years, and during that time managed to defend the title 11 times. The early part of the fight mainly consisted of both fighters keeping their distances. Hamed's speed and reaction time nullified all of Johnson's attacks. At the end of the third round, Naseem managed to shake Johnson, but he held out. However, at the end of the same round, Hamed himself missed an incoming right hook, touching the canvas with his hand, but this went unnoticed by the referee.
Johnson is not impressed by his tactics. Look at him bang that body. A minute to go in this round. And Tom is off balance and caught again. Tom was really off balance with the first shot. And now Naseem having a field day teeing up again. Tom's going to hang on and force Naseem's punching power here. And Naseem tagged him a couple more times, real heavy. Tom is taking some real shots here. He's going to hang on, he's going to go.
At the end of the 7th round, Hamed again shook Johnson, but he was saved by the bell. In the 8th round, the American found himself on the floor after a prolonged attack by Hamed. Johnson got up, but the referee, seeing his condition, stopped the fight.
The Prince, at the age of 22, good-looking boy came along and take it off him in his fifth defence. And what can I say? You're looking at a legend soon to be. I mean, there's time to prove, but I'm going to prove it, and I'm going to do it and bring it back to Britain.
Hamed made several more title defenses, including his defeat of fellow British champion Billy Hardy. Before that fight, Hardy said that Hamed would enter the ring in a chariot, but he would leave on a stretcher. Naseem predicted he would win by knockout in the first round, and Hardy was eventually stopped at 93 seconds.
A surprise, he actually got up at 7. And he's got him again, Billy Hardy once again.
Hamed soon vacated the IBF title due to boxing politics.
For Naseem Hamed to retain.
On December 19th, Hamed met in the ring with American ex-champion Kevin Kelly in a spectacular and dramatic match. Already in the last minute of the first round, Naseem fell to a knockdown after missing an accurate right hook.
Oh, and down goes Chris Naseem! Down goes the...
At the beginning of the second round, he again missed a couple of Kevin's punches and touched the floor of the ring with his gloves. It was counted as a second knockdown.
Good shot! Chris Naseem's glove, he's getting beat up right now. Kevin Kelly looks like he's slipped in the corner.
Less than a minute later, Kelly was on the canvas, receiving a right cross from Hamed.
Down goes Kevin Kelly.
At the end of the first 3 rounds, the American turned out to be a more accurate puncher than the Prince.
Oh. Another reaching.
In the middle of the 4th round, Kelly missed a quick series of punches from Hamed and falls again.
Down goes Kevin Kelly. Oh, that was a solid shot by Naseem.
A few seconds later, Naseem himself falls on the attack. And after a counter punch by Kelly, Hamed touches the canvas and the referee gives him a standing 8 count. But in the last minute of the round, Hamed again throws a powerful left hook. Kelly falls and barely manages to get to his feet before the referee stops the fight. For Naseem, it was his 9th WBO defense, as well as his first fight in the USA. Hamed's 10th anniversary title defense took place on April 18th against the experienced Puerto Rican idol, Wilfredo Vasquez.
There could be a rematch this summer, we'll see. Does box with his gloves down. Vasquez trying to get quick on his feet with this ability, or he's wrestled Vasquez down. 2 good left hooks and a right uppercut too. He's looked a little shaky on his feet for a moment. That's much more cautious here. Leaped in there with a good right hook. Oh, countering right. Good shot.
The style, Hamed, very, very unique.
Oh, left hook, and he's got it this time. And they'll have to count that.
About to rush in recklessly. Hamed would like him to do that.
Oh, leather left hand. Not anything really. Vasquez, but rocked by that. Those legs are starting to go.
In the 7th round, Naseem delivers Vasquez's 3rd knockdown of the match. And in the last minute, another knockdown, causing the fight to be stopped. Unfortunately, the more successful Naseem Hamed became, the less time he devoted to training, making his critics comment that he was working more as an amateur than as a professional. He had the potential to be better.
Well, here is the Prince, still the champion. That was patient, clinical, and in the end ruthless, wasn't it?
It was wicked, you know. He was a very, very good world champion, and he deserves all the credit that he gets. But you know, the real world champion is, I say it all the time, I am too strong for these featherweights. When I start punching them, they're going out. I'm taking them out. That's 10 world title fights, defenses, 10 knockouts. What are you saying, Curly?
New Jersey, USA, 1998. Naseem Hamed versus Wayne McCullough. Hamed spent the next fight again in the United States. McCullough was an eminent Irish amateur. He took silver in the 1992 Olympics, became a champion in the professional ring, and also had a truly strong chin. In his entire professional career, he never found himself knocked down.
There's some blood also coming from the lip
In the championship rounds, Wayne picked up his pace, but the victory was not enough for that either. Hamed celebrated a landslide victory with a 12-round decision. It was Naseem's last fight under the guidance of coach Brendan Ingle and promoter Frank Warren. Ingle had coached the Prince for 16 years, but for the past 3 years, they increasingly had disagreements. The coach noted that Hamed was driven by fortune and had problems with discipline. He categorically did not like the behavior of Hamed, who increasingly showed dislike for long training sessions. As a result, the strong and long-lasting relationship fell apart. Naseem was 25 years old and his career was at its peak. The whole world knew about him and his achievements for a long time. He was 9th in the rating of the best boxers regardless of weight category. The Prince decided to hire a new, much more authoritative and well-known mentor, Emmanuel Stewart. Manchester, UK, 1999, Naseem Hamed versus Paul Ingle.
I expect a goofy functional ways, ducking his head backward. I like what he's just done.
Already in the first round, Paul missed 2 left hooks and was knocked down.
Ingle goes down on the left hand.
He was very active, but most of his attacks did not reach their target.
Which is really smart when he's not doing anything. He's moving his head. Doesn't mean a thing. Winning that big W, that's what we
Never went out of your way, as the Prince does. Style yourself a knockout artist and say you were going to dominate your opponent. The body and shot.
In the 6th round, he was back on the canvas by missing a left hook to the body. At the beginning of the 11th round, Prince got in a single left hook, shaking Ingle. The referee, seeing that Paul was getting up with great difficulty, stopped the fight. Hamed's next fight became a unification bout and took place in the USA. The rival was WBC champion Mexican Cesar Soto. The beginning of the fight took place with a slight advantage of the Mexican fighter.
Set up his left hook. Oh, it just missed with a big left hook there.
Oh, it didn't miss. Now we got the rhythm going for Hamed.
Hard left hook by Soto. And you saw the typically off balance.
In round 4, Hamed put Soto in a headlock during a clinch, and a point was deducted. At the beginning of the 5th round, Soto pounced on Hamed, and Naseem body slammed Soto in return. Again, the referee removed a point.
He's going to deduct another point, I think, from Prince Naseem.
Overall, in the later rounds, Hamed looked better. The Prince held on and won the fight by the decision of the judges. In 2000, the Prince, with 2 titles, was ranked 6th in the ranking of the best boxers in the world. In March of the same year, he met with South African Vuyani Bungu, who had long held the IBF title. The public expected the African to give Naseem some good resistance, but Naseem brutally knocked out Bungu with a left cross in the middle of round 4, and became the first to beat him ahead of schedule. Naseem fought his 15th WBO title defense in the USA. The rival was 22-year-old American Augie Sanchez, who was a hard-hitting and highly rated amateur fighter. In the middle of the 2nd round, Sanchez managed to send Hamed to the canvas. From that moment, the meeting between the boxers turned into a real massacre. In round 3, both boxers were on the verge of falling more than once. and their faces during the break reflected the difficult match, looking like they had already gone 12 rounds. At the end of the fourth round, Hamed sent Augie into a hard knockout. The American left the ring on a stretcher. In this fight, the Prince also injured his arm and required surgery. During his recovery, Naseem gained more than 33 pounds of weight. However, he was not going to defend his WBO title in the future. He chose a different path and vacated the title. Naseem wanted to fight the legendary Juan Manuel Marquez, who had long been the #1 contender for his title. But Naseem's coach rejected the idea of a fight with Juan Manuel, believing that Marquez's style was too unconventional for Naseem. However, the coach happily accepted the option to fight another Mexican fighter, Marco Antonio Barrera, who, for the sake of the fight, was ready to give up his WBO bantamweight title and move to a higher category. On April 7th, Naseem Hamed faced Mexican Marco Antonio Barrera, who had held the WBO bantamweight title for a long time, who also had the fight of the year with Eric Morales. To Hamed, this fight was a very tempting option. At the time, both fighters were 27 years old. Barrera was considered a 3-1 underdog.
Allahu Akbar! Allah is the greatest! Allahu Akbar! Ashhadu anna la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam.
Boxing, not just waiting in. Gets to the body. Wobbles down with a left hook upstairs.
In the fight, Barrera chose a classic style when fighting against left-handed opponent. In the second round, Hamed grabbed Barrera and they both fell to the ground, where Barrera threw a jab, leading to a warning from referee Joe Cortez. In the eighth round, Marco again managed to shake Naseem. Closer to the final round, Hamed became successful with his jabs. In the 12th round, Barrera grabbed Hamed from behind and pushed his head into the ring post, causing the referee to deduct a point. Despite all the controversy, Barrera celebrated a victory by a unanimous decision. After the fight, Emmanuel Stewart claimed that Hamed was not fully prepared for the fight, and only 8 weeks before the fight was still 15 pounds over the limit. Also, while studying Barrera's fights, Hamed only focused on Barrera's defeats and ignored other winning fights. According to him, on the eve of the fight, Hamed was complaining about discomfort in his hand, which delayed his entry into the ring. The contract with Barrera had a clause about a rematch, but none was scheduled.
I don't know, maybe it's as I've told you before, Larry, but the answer you give me is you can't interview Allah. The fact is, my faith is still there to the maximum. If that's the way it's written for a man to go, that's the way it's written from Allah. I'm happy, I'm still confident. The fact is, he couldn't drop me, he couldn't knock me out, and I'm going out at this ring like a champion still. At the end of the day, I give him all congratulations and all the best of all the success in the world to him in the future. And what can I say? I only have to get straight back in the gym and get back again like champions do. Come back and fight again. It's written from Allah for that to happen, and I accept what is written. That's all I can say.
Well, that's all for today, friends. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to press the like button and subscribe to the channel. We'll see you next time.